Hello, and welcome to episode 264 of Constructing Comics, a podcast building stories one page and one panel at a time. On this episode, we have an interview with Lewis, aka Shadow Rabbit, creator of amazing clay sculpts. This is Matt, and I'm joined by my Constructing Comics co-host, Noah.
Hey there.
So, Lewis, this is interesting for us because this is a new art form for us to break down. But as we normally do, let's start off with a quick bio about yourself, and then let's do the origin story about how we got into sculpting.
Wow. Okay, I'll try to make up something interesting for tonight. Howdy, everyone. I'm Lewis. I go by Shadow Rabbit Clay Guy because I couldn't think of any other name, and I thought it sounded appropriate. Yeah, I'm a sculptor. I do prototype work, toy design, custom sculptures of any kind. You come to me with an idea, I'll try to make it come true. But my main mediums are in clay wax, epoxy, stuff like that. I can branch out and play with metals and stuff sometimes, but I don't have the room to do it right now. My wife doesn't want me burning anything down, so.
How did you get into sculpting?
So I've been sculpting basically as long as I can remember. I'm playing with Play-Doh and just the non-drying clay, the cheap stuff you get as a kid, but I never really grew out of it, I suppose. So just since I was little, always had a piece of Play-Doh or clay or something in my hand. I guess at some point I realized I could make whatever toy I wanted out of it. So
nice.
And is it formal training, or is it just sort of this self-taught skill, holding on to these things, playing with them, building them since childhood? What's the path that you took there?
So I am formally trained in art, but honestly I don't think they ever liked any of the stuff I made. This is the clay and the sculpting that I do is it's self-taught, that I've been doing since I was a kid and just figuring out what I liked. Got my first McFarlane toy when I was like, I don't know, 5 or something. I was like, yeah, I want to try to make stuff like this.
That makes so much sense. Now that I think about it, I was like, having been a patron of yours for Dino Thrashers, looking at that, it feels like a McFarlane toy. It's but in your way, like it's not like a knockoff. It's your art form.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. No, man, those guys are amazing. But obviously, Godfather and everything. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what I like to do was make little monsters and dinosaurs and aliens and stuff, and fight them on my desk instead of doing math homework.
Nice.
I was a weird kid. I'm a weird adult, so it kind of transitioned through, I suppose. But I started to realize the smaller I made stuff, the more characters I could have, the more crazy I could get with the scale and the diversity of the things I was making. So when I was little, I was making stuff. You could fit a couple guys on your fingernail. So.
Nice. Do you did you like at one point sort of like transition from like characters that you knew to like creating your own sculpts and like your own characters and things?
Oh, definitely. I mean, what I like to do the most is just make my own stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I love superheroes and all the cool stuff, but that's why it's so cool meeting guys like you, people with their own ideas that I can, especially if you guys are cool and let me kind of take some liberties and play with it. I love prototyping stuff. And yeah, I make all my own stuff all the time. It's got a ton of influence, I'm sure, in all of the, weird sci-fi action movies and everything like that and anime. But maybe one day I'll get brave enough to try to come out with my own line or stories or something.
Yeah.
So you might not be the right age for this, but did you like the claymation sort of Christmas shows that come on CBS? Were those things that you were excited about? And did you ever like want to like do like animations with them and stuff like that?
So the Wallace and Grommets and everything of the
Yeah.
world. Um, I always thought they were really cool, but I guess if I was honest, I was always leaned more towards a celebrity deathmatch
Nice.
type of. I would love to have someone else try to animate some of my sculptures, but I don't have the. I did try to do some, back high school stuff, but it's really hard, man. Yeah, and that was before they had all these cool programs and stuff. So you're just sitting there with like your crummy camera taking a picture and go, move it,
Hmm.
move it. I would love to play around with green screens or something. Those look like a lot of fun.
That's
But
awesome. Yeah. So like,
Oh,
yeah, there he is. There's Nigel. Yeah.
yeah, something like that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So when this might be a bit of a pivoting question, but I kind of was wondering, like, with like the original characters idea, like where did like your name come from, like Shadow Rabbit Clay Guy?
Um,
Love that. Yeah.
so I'm a clay guy. Shadow Rabbit was just a nickname from high school.
Nice.
Shadow. I always thought it'd be cool. Like in our old Metal Gear, everyone, all the bad guys you had to fight had these like cool like Native American esque names of like their spirit animal and
mhm.
Psycho Mantis and stuff. So I thought mine would be Shadow Rabbit.
Nice.
So Noah and I came up to you at AwesomeCon, not realizing that we had already known you, and we were like, "Hey, we're working on this dinosaur book," and you're like, "I
Yeah.
know that book," and then we
That was
realized
amazing.
that we knew each other. So you get approached by folks to make sculpts, guys like Noah and myself, and I know that you've worked with, is it the Space Bastards guys?
Space Bastards. Yeah, they're launching their uh, next two hardcovers soon. So
Very cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So do you does anybody like maybe at a larger scale than guys that are self-publishing comics like reach out to you to give them
uh,
something that they can use down the
I mean, I'm
line?
trying to stay away from the guys who are too big as not to to bother anybody at the moment. But I would love to. I guess I'm not brand new on the scene, but I haven't been doing the rounds for a super long time, I suppose. Um, I kind of like being with the indie guys. I mean, it's just nothing. It's been a lot of fun, kind of getting into this niche and getting to play around with people who are super, passionate about their own characters. Certainly not opposed to working with anybody.
Yeah.
Just
That's
So
awesome.
do you, when you go to cons, I know that like there's a number of things that you can turn around really quickly. We got the you basically recreated one of our covers for us in those little um I don't know if the right term for it is like plastic jewel boxes.
yes, sir.
So do you get a lot of people coming up to you at a con and saying, "Hey, this is the thing I'm into"? Because I think you did like a Peacemaker for Noah. So it's
Oh
like
yeah.
you get a lot of people in that.
Y-
um if it's something that can you just sort of create it from your mind's eye, and then if it's something you don't know, you go and grab a bit of reference and figure it out?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of my hook at the cons, is I'm sitting there just kind of live sculpting, little things. I've got my boxes of waxes and clays, and people come up, kind of like a step on down. Look what I can do in front of you, and in 20 minutes, imagine what I could do if you want to take a commission. I can go home, make something crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so yeah, so that's the main thing I do, and that's kind of stems from what I did as a kid. Just making um, little characters and sculptures. Whatever whatever popped into my mind. If I wanted to make a bunch of Reptar smashing a city or something, I could just do it right there. So when I got on the Comic Con circuit, that was kind of what I always loved to do anyway. And I realized that, hey, if I'm making these in front of everyone, I'm drawing a crowd. So that's kind of my main thing at cons now,
Yeah.
if I'm going to be honest.
Well, it's cool because I think seeing something different, like, you roll across a bunch of guys like Noah and myself that have a bunch of books and prints for you, and then there's you're doing something different. It's nice to sort of have a change of pace and see, it's a different form of art, it's a different form of expression, but it's just nice to have something different there. So I think that's probably what helps you out at cons a lot, right?
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many talented people when you go to these comic cons, just across the line, especially in Artist Alley, and you look across, everyone next to you is like, oh man, they're killing it, doing sketch covers, original art, everyone's got their books. It's like, man, I hope I can tread water with a few of these guys at least. So I'm just extremely grateful that I seem to be getting a following, and people are kind of digging my weird thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, it kind of like with prints and with art, like it always helps to be able to like pick it up and look at it. And what I like about like the jewel box sculptures, they're like shadow boxes, and like, it's just easy to pick them up, and you have that like interaction with the person, just to have something that they can hold and
Yeah.
view in 3 dimensions. That's just awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a con the other weekend, so I kind of sold most of what I had behind me.
Well,
Nice.
that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not complaining too much, but while I'm sitting here talking with you nice gentlemen, maybe I'll start on something.
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask about that. Like, are you someone that like we talk about, Matt and I talk about this with people, and Matt's better at it than I am, but like, do you have a time where you schedule every day, like, I'm going to sculpt this much, or I'm going to do like a shadow box?
I try to. I like to pretend that I have that sort of, ability to plan ahead. I also have, I got a family and everything, so
Right.
my timing is completely on someone else's schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m., I really get the juices going.
So you're like, are you like work best at night? Oh, nice.
I probably do, just
Yeah.
honestly. I'm a night guy and everything. But now that I have to be up at, 5:45 or something, it has caught up to me once or twice.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
So while you're, the folks that are listening on the podcast, they will know that we can see your hands moving, and something is being made. So I think one of the interesting things that Noah and I are most excited about is in Mossvale, this Kickstarter that we're running, is that people have the ability to get a Mossvale character from you. You did a Lucius for us early on, which we gifted to Travis, the writer of it, and we get these awesome Instagram messages from you where we see these like 30-second videos and of the stuff that you're doing, and again, the folks that are listening can't see, but we're looking at a really awesome Nigel, and I was really impressed when we got the video that you did the thing with the light bulb in the staff. So that's that's so awesome.
I wish I could well, they can see it on my Instagram.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And I'll post some more this week for the end of the Kickstarter and everything. But I love these characters. These are super cool. I mean, I love all this stuff. Dino Thrashers was awesome. That plays tremendously into my wheelhouse of anthropomorphized dinosaurs with laser cannons and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. I grew up on Ninja Turtles and Batman and everything like that. I mean, this is right up my alley. And Mossvale's the same way. A little bit cuter, but I like that too.
Nice. So let's talk about the sculpt you did for us for Dino Thrashers. You did Tor, which is
Tor.
the sort of no, you would agree he's the main good guy, right?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, he's the hero, the main hero, Dino. Yeah.
So I think one of the things that's really interesting in it is that You built that thing so well. It's so top heavy, and he has those skinny chicken legs.
I was
And
worried about that at first, but I figured out that I just got some steel wire
yeah,
and built up the skeleton.
yeah. So is that like, like, so if Noah's like if Noah's sitting down to sketch something, he's sort of building the form, he's going in there with pencils. He's basically like shaping out like an arm and a leg. Do you find it's the same thing for you, is to sort of build the form from like, all right, this is a leg. It's not really well defined right now, but I'm sort of getting the space, the proportions right. So are you building forms similar to like an artist would do?
Um, Honestly, I think I do everything backwards. If I want to draw a picture, I will sculpt the thing and then try to sit back and work from that. So if I could build everything from the head down, outside in, that's kind of the way I found myself working. So I started on Tor's head. I
Okay.
figured out the feet is the last part of it, which
Wow.
Wow,
um,
that's so cool.
yeah, it's just how it flowed with him.
Yeah.
Every sculpture starts from scratch, and I'm just trying to help it come to life. I don't. I mean, I can go in with a plan if it's necessary. If someone's very specific about dimensions and things like that. But when I've got liberty to do my thing, I just let it flow and hope that something awesome comes out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. That blows my mind. Well, that's how I draw sometimes, as I draw from the head. Matt, do you do that too sometimes? Like you start with the head and then works there, or are you someone that like does the body first and then does the head on top of it?
I think for the most part, I start with the torso, and then I build out. So that I think if I'm going to draw, that's the way that I would do it.
Which is
Which
apparently that's the correct way to draw.
Yeah,
that
I
is the
don't,
appropriate way.
Yeah.
I don't, but I don't have like the bean. It's the bean or whatever. I just sort of do like the chest cavity and then draw a spine and figure it out, or try to figure it out from there.
Yeah.
But
But I like, man, it blows my mind that I was going to call you Shadow Rabbit Clay guy, but Lewis, that you that you do that. But I
I've
draw
been called
sometimes
worse.
though.
It's all good.
It's all right. Yeah, that's true. I draw the same way sometimes, just sometimes where I'm just like, I just want to draw Peacemaker's head first, right? That kind of
Yeah.
thing. Or I want to draw Hellboy's head, that kind of thing first. And sometimes with the dinos, that's how it was as well, like to get the expression, then have the body match that. That's so cool that you do that. And but also I like your approach to like, and I wonder if you had more ideas on this too, but like I can't remember the artist's name, but he was the illustrator on like Dinotopia, and like he would like create like those like crazy sci-fi blended with dinosaurs paintings. And one of his big advices to artists, like conceptual artists, was to sculpt first and then draw. That was his thing, like for like creating paintings and things like that. So like do you do that regularly? Like do you have like when you do 2D art, like you try to sculpt it first and then draw it from
Yeah,
there?
yeah, that's if I was doing more 2D art, that's exactly how I would do it. I mean, the little shadow box is kind of like bas reliefs,
Yeah.
so that's already, sort of, it's still three-dimensional, but it's two-dimensional-ing it a bit. So, so yeah, I would definitely do it the backwards way like that. I mean, like I said, I have had formal training. I guess it's just my resentment of that formal training that now I've got to do it the most difficult backwards way possible.
Yeah, that depends on my mood, how I want to draw. Cause like, yeah, I was trained the like you draw the body first and then you draw the head, that kind of
Mhm.
thing. And it's like when I want to prove them wrong, I'll draw the head first.
Right. As I think back and me sitting there and figure drawing with a ballpoint pen, I guess. Yeah, I guess I was always trying to just see it the way that made sense to me. Um,
Yeah. And it's like, and there's just no way, there's no one way to make art, anyways, right? It's like,
I I would hope not.
yeah,
Depends who
yeah,
you ask, but
Yeah.
yeah.
um,
I definitely have
it,
my share of art teachers who are very opinionated in that area.
sure, and I all respect to them that to anyone who's devoted their time and energy to something. I guess you just gotta do it the way that makes sense to you. I mean, not surgery or something like that, but if you're if you're going in there trying to make an owl wizard, you have a little bit more flexibility in how you're trying to interpret that reality. So I think that's what's cool about what we do. I mean, we get to try to create a little bit of our own vision of the world, right?
Yeah. So like when you were sculpting Nigel, the owl wizard, did you
I
have
love
like a
that.
pose in mind? Like when you were doing that, like you're like, okay, I want him to be like his arms out or whatever it is, or did you again like sort of start with one thing and then build from
I
there?
started with on Nigel the wand, like his
Yeah.
staff, and I was like, okay, I've got a little light. I'm gonna pour like a resin marble around the light. We'll see, and I'll make it all make sense from there. So yeah, with him, I started with the with a little Christmas light bulb that I then poured into like a marble mold to make the orb.
Oh,
And
that
then
was a
I worked.
Christmas light?
It's like like a little like dollar store like Christmas light that I found, and I'm like, that's gonna be what happens.
Oh my
It's like
God,
it's
that's
Very
just sitting
cool.
crazy.
there. It's like I knew it was for something. So I've got a bunch of trash like that around that my life blows me having everywhere. But I'm like, no, one day it will come to me, and I will need a favor done, and this piece of garbage will be it. And yeah,
Yeah, that thing is
so
beautiful. That's so cool. Like I love this, like just like little tidbits in creation right there. It's like Tor started with the head. Nigel's staff is a Christmas light. That's incredible. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I just I really do love the feel of Mossvale. I mean, it's cute, but it's also can be super cool too. Like I was watching you do your sketches of him with like a fire sword today, and it's like, oh, dude, wait, I can make him make him a gangster like that. Because
Yeah,
I
not
don't know what the next one's going to look like. It might look completely different. It might be very Spawn inspired. I don't know.
Oh wow.
yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that would be so cool to see what you would do with that. Like I need to send you the book after we're done here. I'll send you the whole thing just so you can not so you can make sculpts for me, but just in case you want to.
Well, hey, I bought into the Kickstarter too, man. I mean, I put some skin in this game.
oh yeah.
You
I'm
definitely
looking
did.
forward to reading this.
Yeah, man. I'll definitely send it to you after this because, yeah, what Travis is doing is inspires me. So I'm glad to hear it inspires other people too, and I know he'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah, and I mean
Oh,
that's what it's all about, right? I mean,
yeah,
you do something that matters to you, and if other people are digging it, that's just icing on top of the cake. Um,
yeah.
So I think that I'm correct in and Noah might have the answer to this, but Noah, do you know if like Paulo Rivera, he's done, Spider-Man stuff. Does he make his own sculpts to help him with his illustrations? I think I've seen him do that before, but is anybody aware of anybody else who's a traditional comic artist that might do a sculpt to help them with their you know their their sketching and design for comics?
I remember if
oh,
Alex Ross does that. I know he has sculptures. I don't know if he sculpts them himself though.
yeah,
Yeah, I took a
I'm
I
not
took a
sure.
comics coloring class, and the instructor was like, he's like, one of the best things I ever got was somebody had made like a really detailed Namor face, like
Nice.
as a bust, and he had the color Namor, so he would like turn it to see how like the light would hit like certain parts of the forehead, and that would help him like learn how to, or not learn how, but that would help him as like, all right, I want a little bit of light hitting this half of his head. There'll be a bit of a shadow here under the eye and stuff like that. So yeah,
It-
there's
yeah, I mean, it's got to. I mean, using imagination is everything, but having something to help you understand how shadows fall across a face is it's a pretty big deal sometimes. Um,
Yeah.
I'm certain that there are other people doing making their own sculptures first, but I'd just be taking shots in the dark at naming people.
Have you ever worked with any, I know that you like to work with your hands, but there are some like digital like sculpting tools that like ZBrush and stuff like that. Have you worked with things like that?
Yeah, I was messing around with that, like 15 years ago or something when it was, pretty new. I was trying it and I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be trouble one day because you can do a lot on here." But it's just not what inspires me personally.
Mhm.
The amount of time it would take me to do it on ZBrush, I could do it with my hands and get
Sure.
to be, it's a tactile thing, I guess. I don't know. I just like to feel like I'm making it with my own hands. Always keeping them busy, playing around with clay anyway. So if I was on the computer, it would just it'd just be another thing. And I worked at a desk for good couple of years, and sort of made one of my pledges when I was getting into the comic world to be like, I'm not going to sit behind a computer ever again.
Sure, sure.
Uh, I remember sitting there in December of 2019 going, I can't wait to never have to be behind a computer. Anyway, um, but no, yeah, there's some super talented people with the digital sculpting and the 3D printing and stuff. I think you know that's amazing stuff too.
Yeah. And sorry to go take a step back, but also like a kind of a step in, like, again, talking about Mossvale. But one of the reasons why I thought of you for Mossvale was actually Travis was looking into sculpting the characters himself, and he just didn't have the
Oh,
time
nice.
or the money really to invest in like just creating them all himself. So he was like, I remember him talking to me. He's like, yeah, I'd like to find an artist that would do the characters for me so I could have them on my desk and then I could draw them. And his wife texted me a couple weeks before Baltimore Comic Con and was like, his birthday's coming up. You got any ideas? And I was like, And I was like, I've been wanting to get some more sculpting done. And I know if he has it on his desk now, like his Lucius
That,
sculpture, like it's really important for
that's
him.
dude, that's so awesome for me to hear. Yeah, I mean, I remember I first got in contact. I first heard about you guys from my boy Sparks. Sparks Comics. So you promised me comics now, and
Yeah.
I was listening to him interviewing you guys. Like, all right, man, this sounds up my alley. So it was just, it was kismet, man, when you guys walked up to me. Because again, everyone's got masks on. I mean, it's not that I'm good at recognizing or remembering people anyway.
You're like,
But
oh, here, two tall white dudes
right.
at a Comic Con. They must be geniuses. They must have
Right.
something to sell. Yeah.
That's just how I look at it. But
Yeah.
like, man, they're coming up to me. It's all good. Just as long as you're not, trying to bite me or anything, I guess it's cool, man.
Yeah,
But
no. It was a geek
yeah,
out moment for Matt and I when we saw your stuff.
Yeah.
Like we both were kind of like, Matt had the idea first, but I kind of was like on the same wavelength where I was like, yeah, we got to get this guy to do something. Because I think both you, Matt, and I like collecting action figures. So it's sort of like we were like, this would be the next step to have something of our own,
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
3D form.
And I mean that's the coolest thing in the world for me because, like I said, I've been making little stuff out of clay since my whole life, and most of the time it wasn't as considered high art or anything like that. I did this just for me, and to be able to find this community and having people to support me the way they have is just I don't see how I'll ever be able to properly you know explain how much that means to me. So yeah, I'm just endlessly grateful for being able to geek out with other cool dudes. Talk about comic books and wizards and Batman and stuff. I mean, that's
That's
what a wonderful time to be alive.
Yeah, no kidding. And that's why we love doing this show. But that also, I did have a question about that for you. Do you have a show that you do, don't you, where you talk?
I do. I'm
Yeah.
on. It's not my show, but I'm on with with a few friends, and I guess I stayed up late enough a few times in a row, so now I'm part of the rotation. But it's through Bit and Apple TV, and it's the Written Writ late rights with my guy Rafael Taveras, and it actually started as a musing of how to write, short stories and gets your thoughts together. And now it's just kind of after my edition descended into a pop culture geek out tomfoolery hour. But it's another Insomniacs Unite moment because when you're sitting there 2 in the morning and people are sending you funny memes back and forth, it's like, oh, you have an unhealthy sleeping cycle as well, I see. So that's sort of what happened.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we'll have to put a picture of that, but that's amazing. You did that in what, roughly 12, 15 minutes?
Yeah, it's
That is awesome.
kind of what I aim for. I make these little, like 1 inch tall characters. I think 15 minutes probably good range for me to shoot for. They're not quite caricatures, but they're little. I call them clay guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
They're my little homies that I make, and that's part of the step right up at the con thing that I do.
Very
Dude.
cool.
Dance, monkey, dance. Make more sculpts. Yeah.
Hey man, you look like a smart fella. Step on up. It was either that or I have a couple, Dixie cups with a red ball under one of them, and I don't think that's smiled upon at Comic Cons.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they'd understand it unless the cups had superheroes on them. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Very cool. So let's bring this back and close it out, and let's just tell everybody about Mossvale here. And a lot of folks do Kickstarters and do comics, and like I was on a show earlier and the guy was like, what can I expect from this Kickstarter? And I was like, well, you're going to get the normal stuff that you get from a Kickstarter: digital comics, print comics, prints, but like we have this new thing that we're putting in there is these handmade, one of a kind sculpts. So as we close up here, we got about a week to go. There's still plenty of opportunity to get one of these. No, do we want to break the news that Lewis is probably doing mittens?
Yeah, I think, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you already did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, there's a tiger warrior in the back of the book that somebody has, one of Travis's friends who's generously contributed to the Kickstarter. He's thinking that he wants mittens. So that's breaking news. There's going to be a mittens. Yeah.
Mittens isn't a tiger. He's a tiger slayer, but he's a house cat that slayed a tiger. That's what he is. Yeah.
He's the one sitting up in the tree with like a jaggedy sword and kind of like a goatee looking thing going on.
Yeah. That's Mittens. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be Mossvale.
I'm invested in this, man. I'm looking through all these characters. They're awesome.
Man. Yeah.
It wouldn't be a Mossvale conversation with somebody getting the what type of animal they were wrong, right? So,
right.
There's many people who thought that Lucius was a cat when he's a raccoon. So I'm keeping up the not forgetting, but confusing what the animals are. So
well, you made a simple one because tiger is in his name, so it's not like it's not like with Lucius where it's like how is he a cat or a dog? He's so obviously a raccoon. But yeah.
Well, I like that because in this world, it's like, my name is Tiger.
Yeah.
I'm a python. It's just a family name, and don't read the. We moved here from California, and we have,
So
that's awesome, man. I love all these characters. I really do. I'm super excited, man. There's a dark wizard in there that hasn't even. I don't know how much of that has been shown to the world yet, but I've heard rumblings about it.
We did. We got the dark wizard is pretty freaking cool. So
I'm excited, man.
I'm guessing that if anybody else who is running a comics Kickstarter that is wants to sort of add this to their their tiers, you would be open to that, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would be absolutely thrilled.
And I know that you have a website and you have an Instagram. Are those the best places to sort of keep up to date with the things that you're working on?
Yes, sir. I do have a website. I don't really do a ton with it anymore. You can contact me through it. It's shadowrabbitart.com. But I do almost everything through Instagram now, which is uh, which is crazy for me to say because social media in general was foreign to me just a few years ago. But yeah, you can hit me on Instagram, shadowrabbit_clay_guy, and basically I'm happy to try to sculpt whatever whatever thing you're dreaming of, man. Whatever character you wish you wish you could try to bring to life, even if just for a reference model. I make Christmas ornaments for people, cake
Oh
toppers,
wow.
all that stuff. But what really has been rocking is doing these Kickstarters, working on people's indie projects. Just being able to fill that void because obviously you can get a toy made, but it's an in-depth process, and I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, I just do this for the love or one of those type of guys, but more or less that's not too far from the truth. I mean, as long as as long as I can afford the materials and stuff, I will work with you and try to make something that makes us both happy.
And
Is
that's
there
awesome.
like a good rule of thumb about like how many like I'm guessing that like for a lot of these things like one picture is all you need to sort of to do it, but like if I was going to go to somebody like you and say, hey, I need the sculpt, there's a classic thing in comics where there's like the turnaround models where it's
Mhm.
like straight on the back and in the side. Can you build something off of just one images, or is it good to say, hey, look, this is how he kind of looks from the side, this is how he looks on the front? Is that something to keep in mind if somebody was to contact you?
I mean, obviously, it kind of depends who you're working with. I mean, if they're willing to let me take, if they won't trust me with taking the liberties with their work, then one picture, one description, just write me an email, or we can FaceTime or something, and you kind of tell me about your character, and I'll try to make something that hopefully you like when it's completed. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have more reference material, the more you've got, the more I can try to match the image that you've come to me with.
And sometimes you even correct the artist's mistake by giving the raccoon a tail, right?
See, now I'm gonna be, after I was listening to that that interview you guys did, and I was like, man, you're right. Did I just come up with that? I feel like I must have asked if there was a tail, right?
I think there is a tail in one of the drawings. I think that you use the pose for.
It's the cloak. The cloak is
But
covering
the
it.
cloak,
Yeah.
that's what we keep telling Travis. Like the cloak covers up the tail. It's okay.
Then I see him from the rear, and he's got that cloak, and I don't see a big bushy raccoon tail sticking out
Yeah.
of it.
Well,
But
now Travis is trying to maybe invent a story where he lost
right,
his tail. And
I think that I thought that was a cool retcon. You're like, yeah, well, maybe that's part of his tragic,
yeah.
his cowardly lion story.
Yeah.
I thought that was, hey man, it's a found history for him.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Yeah, that's where the cycle of inspiration comes in, where it's like,
right.
yeah. Um,
Okay. Yeah, we
yeah,
gotta help each other out.
we do. We do.
And I needed to put the tail because for him, he's a freestanding figure. I needed it as the tripod
Right.
Yeah,
to help
Yeah.
make him stand better. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like that sculpt is like, I don't know. I geeked out, and I know Travis geeked out when he saw it because it was like that was one of his first drawings, was that Lucius, and it was like with the shield and everything. Like it was like, I think for me it was emotional because I remember when Travis sent me that image, and I was just like, oh my gosh, and like, yeah, so good.
dude, that that means so much to me, man. Yeah, I know. I was like, when I was working with you guys on tour, I was like, man, I really like these dudes. And I'm like, can you get this done in like a week? It's like, because like Awesome Con was the first con I did, in like since the zombie apocalypse, and I was kind of stressing out going to it because I'm in New York, so I had to shuffle my butt down to DC and everything, and I was kind of stressing. I'm not gonna lie, but I was like, man, I really like these dudes. I'm gonna do right by them. I'm gonna bust the sculpture out, make sure I have it there in time. So yeah, that one just flowed, man. I mean, I killed that in like a night, I think,
Wow.
because it just felt right. It's that's why to go back to earlier, like mapping out time to work every night. I could just sit there for 3 hours and get nothing done. It's when the inspiration hits that all of a sudden you can move a mountain overnight, and so that's just kind of how it works for me. Um, and really with all your guys' stuff, I've been like, yeah, this makes sense to me. I think I can get a tremendous amount of work accomplished on this. That's why I was confident enough to be like, yeah, I'll make that happen for you guys.
Very cool.
Man,
Well,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
we appreciate it.
Yeah, no kidding. That's an understatement. Totally appreciate it. It's like it's so amazing that you're able to do that in a night. That's incredible.
Wow, bro, I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Well, you did my I've got my, well, they can't see it, but I've got my Dino Thrashers version of me sitting behind me, and you did that in a night. I'm like, this is awesome.
Thanks.
Very
Freaking
cool.
T-Rex.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was only you and maybe my parents that got that.
Hey,
And
don't get me
they
wrong. I'm always front. I'm like, hey, Dad, do you want me to succeed in the art world? Don't feel too bad if you want.
yeah.
Nah, I'm
And
just kidding.
it was great because I was afraid of it was actually kind of nice to only have like two people who wanted it, because I was like,
Mhm.
well, I just want to draw everybody as T-Rexes. So that was my thing. So but no,
Oh,
I
that's
didn't.
great. I was worried you're gonna make me a Triceratops or something. I'm like, I don't want to
No,
do with
my
that.
mom wanted to be a Triceratops, so she got that. But
Okay,
yeah.
that feels like a very defensive type of animal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put a link to your Instagram, because I feel like that's the best platform
Thank you,
to
sir.
see your stuff. That's gonna be in the show notes. There'll also be a link to Mossvale, obviously, in the show notes. We got about a week. There's still the opportunity to get a sculpt from Shadow Rabbit, or
And
you
a
could
ton of
go,
other cool stuff too.
yeah,
Yeah.
you could go all out and get a page and a sculpt put together. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. But there's going to be a link to the IG, link to the Kickstarter. Just want to thank everybody for listening. If you could give us a rating and review of the podcast on the pod service you use, we really appreciate it. If you want to follow the podcast, we're on Twitter, and that is at ConstructCompod. Instagram is Constructing Comics Pod, and Facebook is Constructing Comics. Please be safe, be nice to each other, go out there and make some comics, and also make some clay sculpts. Thank you. Goodbye.